That's right. I've got pulled over right in front of my house. Yo, what's up, my fellow gearheads, mowers and blowers here again. And as you guys would remember from my last video, I picked this Weedeater One riding mower for a cup of coffee. Dude was getting rid of it. He lived in Belmore, Long Island, down south, Trump country. Anyhow, so his friend, his neighbor, gave it to him after Sandy. It was partially submerged, and you know, he moved and gave him this. He put it on Craigslist for $25, and I says, hey, you know, would you take a trade, whatever? You want a lawnmower, leaf blower for it? Because, you know, I never want to pay any money if I didn't have to, you know. And he's like, you know what, bring me a cup of coffee. So I went to 7-Eleven on the way there, picked him up a nice cup of Joe, and he helped me load it in the car, the truck. So the back wheels didn't spin. As a matter of fact, they're seized, you know. Surprisingly, I pumped up all 4 tires and it holds air. Nice. Because these things are infamous for their tires. They're supposed to be terrible. Anyhow, so it's not moving at all. The back wheels don't move at all. I believe it's all chain driven. You can kind of see it in there. It's all rusty. So, you know, this thing has been underwater for quite a while. And then, you know, the salt water sticking there. I put it on its side here. And the blade is really rusty. And it definitely, this doesn't move either. So it's solid. So what do you do with a lot of rust and things that don't move? Well, I suppose you could, man, look at that. Look at that spark plug. This definitely needs to be changed. Guy said there was no oil in it. I'm sorry, there was no water in the oil, so maybe we can salvage the engine. I have another carburetor exactly for this model engine. Missing the recoil starter. Not even sure the starter's going to work. Later on, I could probably put a recoil starter on here to try once I loosen everything up and get the carburetor fixed up. I have a power washer that has the same exact engine on it, so I could just borrow their recoil starter. Sorry about the light, guys. Anyhow, also there's no there ain't no key, so I believe one of these lawnmowers have the same key. They're all the same key pretty much. So what do I do first? Well, I'm probably going to take this wheel off so I have some working room. Maybe take that side panel off so I can actually see the guts in there. Take the back panel off so I can see more guts in the back. And then what do? PB Blaster, baby. This penetrating oil just destroys rust, gets into places that regular WD-40 whatever doesn't do. Some chemical compound inside that really penetrates the rust and gets into those small places. So I'm going to try and do that. Try to slowly loosen up things, lube up the chain, just to see if things start moving around, you know? If things start moving around, I could work on that engine and try to start it, and then maybe we can get this Sandy victim running again. See you guys later. So I've taken that back plate out. Everything's really rusted, guys. I mean, see the chain over there? I mean, it's stiff, you know? I don't know if, I think this could be a lost cause. I mean, I just don't see myself being able to do anything here because it's all rusted out pretty good. But I'm going to start blasting some stuff, you know, mostly the chain. Springs. this handle here, if you lifted it up, tilted it up, that will allow you to, that puts it in drive. Then if you have it down and clipped over like that, it's transport mode so that you can push it. I'm not really sure where it is, but it's not budging at all. In other words, up and down, it's not, can't even budge it, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it swivels back and forth like this, but, you know, this part here is supposed to pivot like that, you know, and it doesn't do that. So I'm just going to blast this out some more and let it soak in for a while, and I don't know, try to move things around just to see if it could start loosening things up, and perhaps maybe get the wheels spinning. Everything could miraculously come back to life again, but highly doubt it. Talk to you guys later. Yeah, so nothing's really moving. It's just all stiff. Managed to get this to move maybe a millimeter. Can't even tell. The auto choke thing here, whereas the muffler heats up, moves this to open or close the choke. Well, it's rusted solid, so it won't even move, you know. I took the air cleaner bracket base off. Check this out. Yeah. That's not going to work. All the stuff that came out of it. So the more I'm looking at this, guys, the more I'm thinking that probably not going to work. I mean, got a bunch of other lawnmower engines I could just put on here, but not nearly enough power for it. I'm not even sure if the shaft will, you know, fit this assembly, and not to mention the fact that that's all rusted out. So, I mean, the only way it could possibly get going is if I literally removed every piece in there and cleaned every piece to get the rust out, you know? That's the only way. And that's just so much work, it's simply not worth it, you know? It's not worth the time, not worth the effort. I mean, I'll start disassembling this just to see what happens, but I don't think it's looking very good. I probably will just disassemble this whole thing and just sell them for parts, you know? Maybe make a go-kart out of it. You know, I could probably do that. You know, you got to take the deck off, take the frame, take the deck off the frame. I don't know. Maybe get rid of all the stuff in here and just leave an axle with a sprocket, and then run a small lawnmower engine on it. Just drive it around. Maybe. I don't know yet. But I'm just going to start taking stuff apart. Boy, it took some doing, but the entire right side wheel is now off. Man, oh man. Lots of screws, lots of bolts, just to get the right side wheel off. That's, I don't know if the engineering is all that great, you know. So we know for sure that I need a new muffler, because the muffler is attached to that temperature thermostat sensor that controls the auto choke to the carburetor. We know we need a new carburetor, or maybe I could salvage it, I don't know, I'll take it off first. I have another carburetor just like it anyway, brand new. So, you know, one of the complaints was that of this model is that the chain always gets stretched out and it falls off a lot. Well, I don't think I'm going to have a problem with that. I mean, this was a pain in the ass just to get the chain off, because it was pretty tight around the two cogs and sprockets. But I'm going to see if I can get this moving around. Thanks. So I was checking this out. This is how it works. There's a big sprocket there, and onto the axle, goes in the middle, and goes straight to the wheel. So took the bolt off the wheel, and it's fused on here. It's rusted inside, and this won't spin. This won't spin. This won't spin. It's basically fused inside to this. I've banged it. I've done everything I can to get this wheel off. It won't come off, and it won't spin. It's all fused. So it's definitely not worth the trouble, I don't think. Okay, so here's something else to solidify the fact that it is too much trouble. Took the spark plug out. I needed, yeah, that's right. I needed a breaker bar to get the spark plug out because it was all rusted. Inside, I think the motor's shot, man. I'm sticking this inside, and it's just crap on the inside. So I don't think this engine is worth fixing. I don't think that's worth fixing. I don't think any of this is worth fixing. Do you think it's worth fixing? I'll mess with it some more and we'll see.